Hello and welcome to Broken Entertainment. So since I did my last Wonder Woman video, I decided to start doing some more research into the movie. And boy, there's a lot of information coming out that just makes it look. It's not good. Um, and my first thought was, okay, what's the why is there such a big difference between Wonder Woman in 2017 and Wonder Woman 1984 coming out this year? And my initial thought was, oh, well, maybe, in 2016 everything got political and weird and it just all got hyper aggressive from there. Wonder Woman came out in 2017, so it would have been in production before 2016. The story would have been written before 2016. That was one direction I went. But then I asked the basic question, who wrote the movie? So if we look at 2017, we have Zack Snyder, Alan Heinberg. I'm not going to try to say that name because I don't know how to pronounce it, and I do not want to screw it up. And then directed by Patty Jenkins, who seems to be a pretty good director. I mean, I don't know her from anything except Wonder Woman, but I think that was a well-directed film. So then I said, okay, so why did these guys suddenly switch and become political? Well, here's the writer's room in Wonder Woman 1984. Suddenly, Patty Jenkins is writing. Dave Callahan is writing, who was not on the first movie, and Jeff Johns. So none of the people from the first movie returned. And Patty Jenkins seems to be very political. I don't know anything about this guy. And Jeff Johns will basically just do whatever they tell him to do to keep his job in Hollywood. So there's your first big difference. And so then you say, okay, so Patty Jenkins had a lot to do with the script. So why is it so political from that perspective? Well, let's go to what she has to say about Wonder Woman 1984 and Wonder Woman 3, uh, which has probably been greenlit, I would assume, but it's going to be a while apparently. So you go down here in this article from the playlist, but this is an interview with Patty Jenkins talking about Wonder Woman 3, and she's going to do an Amazonian spin-off film. But first, she's got Star Wars Rogue Squadron coming up. So she says, it's interesting. I can actually came up with the story, and Jeff Johns and I beat out an entire story for Wonder Woman 3 that we were super fired up about. But I've never felt this way before as much as I do now. She, I sort of, I don't think I'm doing it next, and so I have to sort of wait and see where we are in the world. Stop right there. So I have to wait and see where we are in the world. So she's not interested in a Wonder Woman story. She's interested in a where are we in the world story. She wants to talk about politics. She wants to talk about current events. And she wants to use it because she happens to be attached to Wonder Woman. She wants to use those things through the lens of Wonder Woman. But she does not want to tell a Wonder Woman story because read this. She does not at any point say she was super excited about Wonder Woman. She says she had this story they were really excited about, but then things changed, and she wants to see where we are in the world. If you're writing a story or a movie or a book, you should be, the first thing you should be worried about is a good story. Within that, you can have allegory, you can have allusions, you can have references that tell a timeless story that will not become immediately unimportant a year later. We've seen that with classic episodes of the original Star Trek series and Deep Space Nine and so on and so forth, all the way up until Star Trek Discovery pissed on the whole thing. And we've seen that in plenty of other storytelling. Why is The Christmas Carol still considered a classic? Why do people still connect with a Star Trek episode about a planet with one half black and one half white, literally on the same body, and then the other part of the population is the other way around? That was obviously an allegory for racism and the racial struggles at the time, but it wasn't directly those things. What she's going to do is directly those things. So, here she says, what I want to talk about in Wonder Woman 1984 was very prescient to what I was feeling and what you were sort of feeling was coming. So, there again, your direct connection to current events, your direct connection to current politics, because again, Wonder Woman 1984 would have been production would have started after 2016, after 2017, so we're talking about 2018, 2019 time frame. So she's thinking about Trump. Trump, 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 Trump. So now I'm not sure. So much has changed in the world. You don't have to tell a story, even if it takes place in the modern day. You do not have to tell a story about current events. I want to go see Wonder Woman be awesome. I don't want to see any references to a pandemic. I don't want to see people wearing masks. And I don't want to see some guy that looks a lot like Trump doing vaguely Trumpy things. Especially, look, 1984, you could have done so much with the setting of 1984. What do? You gotta make a guy that looks like Trump and acts the way you believe Trump acts, and then you gotta have Wonder Woman punch him in the face. And now you want to see where things are for the next movie. You don't want to tell a good Wonder Woman story. You want to tell politics. And here she says more. I still love the story. I'm sure parts of it would come over to it, but I'm trying to say to myself, don't fall in love with anything. What would Wonder Woman do now? I don't know. Kick some bad guy's ass? What are you craving Wonder Woman to do now in this world? I want her to kick some bad guy's ass. I don't want her to do shit with a mask on. I don't want her to talk about a pandemic. I don't want her to kneel before Biden. I want her to be a superhero doing superhero things in a world that doesn't remind me of what's going on now. There's a really great example from 2001, 2002. The World Trade Center attacks. And at the time, Friends was a really big TV show. And everybody said, okay, well, how are you going to address that in Friends, in the world of Friends? Because the world of Friends is a happy place. It's a funny place. They didn't. It was escapism. It was supposed to be funny. Why are you going to talk about the Twin Towers coming down in a freaking comedy show? Why are you worried about Trump and viruses in freaking Wonder Woman? And I just want to back up for a second too. Something that really set me off a little bit. Back up here. Here we go. It's very prescient to what I was feeling and what you were sort of feeling was coming. Look, this is the problem. Hollywood thinks everybody agrees with them, thinks the way they think. And when they're confronted with people that don't, they're shocked. Absolutely, completely isolated from the real world. And it talks about her getting ready for Rogue One, which is fine. Not Rogue One, Rogue Squadron. I'm sorry. So then we back up. Got another article here from the Guardian. This came up 7 hours ago. Is Wonder Woman 1984 the first Me Too superhero movie? Now again, Wonder Woman has always been a feminist icon, and that's okay because it was always done well. It was done allegorically and metaphorically. It was done in a way that didn't make men look evil. Okay? Look at this promotion picture. She's just easily beating up two men. There's another promotion picture you've probably seen where she's holding some guy by the ankle and laughing about it. So, let's go down and see what they have to say. There's a scene in Wonder Woman 1984 where Diana Prince glides into a crowded party. Everyone is staring at her, but this is no Cinderella moment with admiring glances and a collective gasp. It is an expose of sexual harassment. The camera switches to Diana's point of view, and we experience a series of persistent, entitled men cracking onto a woman who is clearly not interested. It's a rare case of a superhero movie showing everyday sexism from the woman's point of view. Why do you have to constantly make men look like shit? There are men who are shit, but it's not all of them. It's not even a majority. And you're taking Wonder Woman and using her as a weapon against men. When the people that have supported this character from day one in the 1940s has been men. These people are absolutely sick. And this is what they're going to turn our Wonder Woman movie into. We've gone from entertainment to men are bad, Trump is bad, sexism is bad. And it goes on to talk about the accessible feminism in 2017's Wonder Woman. I absolutely agree with that. 2017 Wonder Woman was a feminist movie, but it was not an intersectional feminist movie. It did not make men look bad. It made some men look bad. And more importantly, it made the woman look good and heroic. Not at the cost of men, but just on her own. Then you get the lecture on Harvey Weinstein, Me Too, Time's Up, blah, blah, blah. Never mind that, what was it, Time's Up, turns out, spent most of the money they received to support women on paying people. And there's accusations that it's just that the Me Too / Time's Up movement's just a cover for sex trafficking. Isn't that exciting? There we go. Throughout Wonder Woman 1984, Diana and her new friend Barbara endure unwanted male attention, from chat-up lines to sexual assault. Fuck off. I mean, really, just stop. Well, if you like the movie, or the movie, I'm sorry, if you like the video, hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and hit that notification bell. And I will see you next time.